Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again with a lot of Arsenal transfers to talk about, but also the fact that our game has been postponed. The game we were playing tomorrow, and basically, I'm not going to do any previews for now. That Carabao Cup semi-final first leg has been postponed against Liverpool. Liverpool have actually confirmed they do have lots of cases, and I mean it's the same situation that happened against Wolves. We'll be discussing that. Mikel Arteta is back after quarantining, after self-isolating for the recommended days. He's back, and Manchester City actually are interested in him with Patrick Vieira. So we'll also discuss that. But of course, the big story today is that Bruno Guimarez, Lyon have set an ultimatum, and as well as the price, 45 million euros with an ultimatum. If Arsenal want the player, they should be paying that as soon as possible. It's a non-negotiable, according to Lyon. We'll be diving into that. And then the letters around Philippe Coutinho and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the two stories are not really related, but Coutinho there, Aston Villa in talks, Newcastle in talks, Arsenal in talks, and we've been given a deadline that if 24 hours run out without signing Philippe Coutinho, it will be absolutely over. I mean, Barcelona, how can they give us an ultimatum? I thought we were the club that. Anyway, we'll discuss that, and as well as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang talks to Newcastle. Looks like they are advancing, so probably he might get that move. I've done a story about the two players that should leave Arsenal and the two players that should actually join Arsenal in this January transfer window. It is on 99 Sport, and I've shared it on the community tab of this channel. If you want to watch that story, make sure you click on the logo of Cossy Arsenal podcast. It will take you to the homepage. On the homepage, search for the community tab. You'll be able to see that story. Arsenal dream transfers. I think I've really done a very good job in summing up what should happen in terms of our January transfer window, who should come in, and definitely who should be leaving the club as well. 4 players in there, around 5, I think, that I've talked about. It's a very interesting video, and I've also talked about Ralf Rangnick leaving Manchester United on that channel. So make sure you do check out that content as well. We want to say thank you to Melbet. I mean, it's still a very new year, and they are still sponsoring us in terms of our content, in terms of the content we are putting out. We are very grateful to Melbet. So make sure you do check out Melbet. Link is in the video description. I mean, today you have that Chelsea game coming up against Tottenham Hotspur. I think both teams to score. That's what we should go for as the Melbet Cossy family. Let's go for both teams to score. Look, I think Spurs will score in that one. I think Chelsea will score as well. And then the result really doesn't matter to me, because eventually it's going to be the final that really matters. If you can make it to the final, that is what will be really big. So let's start off with the news of the game then, because I've already spoken about it. Liverpool did file in an appeal that to postpone the game, the EFL semi-final game against us at the Emirates Stadium for the first leg, and finally the FA have agreed, and the game has actually been postponed. Now Liverpool, just like any other club, Wolves and a couple of other clubs, are really having lots and lots of COVID-19 cases, and with the departure of around 3 of their key players in this January to join the AFCON competition, it looks like they cannot put together a squad. Look, I don't want to dive into a lot of that, because again, there's so many debates on that online. Liverpool are cowards, Liverpool are afraid, and things like that. But look, I do not want to dive into that. Definitely, what I'm gonna say is that if Liverpool have called off this game, it's basically because they are not in a very good situation. Fans are really reacting negatively, but for me, I think it's a very good thing for us now. First and foremost, why do you risk playing a highly infected COVID-19 side? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Call off the game so that your players do not get infected. Because look, some Liverpool players might play in that game. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that they're not that they are not infected. It might be that they have just gone past the test and unnoticed or things like that. So look, I think it is a very, very good thing. The next game we play will be in the FA Cup if it is not cancelled. And then the next game we play is Tottenham Hotspur. We need our squad. We need our players. We have a very, very squad that we are working with. You don't want to deliberately get your players affected or infected by virus that by playing a side that you already know is harboring the virus. Sorry for Liverpool fans. I mean, my language is not that that sweet, but I do not care if if EFL Cup is postponed, because eventually we will have to play it. Yes, it just makes the fixtures so many in the future, but it is for the better. Players' health comes first. That is a non-negotiable for me. I'll never, definitely never, I think otherwise. Players' health comes first. That is it. Right then, I'm still talking about the COVID-19 update. Manager Mikel Arteta is back. He was about to do his press conference today. It was scheduled for 2 p.m. UK time. That is 4 p.m. East African Standard Time. But I mean, it was cancelled because the game has been cancelled. But what I can confirm, lads, is that Mikel Arteta is back, and in the upcoming fixtures, in the FA Cup, in the Premier League, we might see Mikel Arteta, on the touchline. So he's back. I think it's a very, very huge boost for us. It's a very, very big thing for us. It's one of those things that really cost us the Manchester City game, because City, again, having Pep Guardiola, it's always the kind of reassurance reminder when you have your manager there that probably, because again, these are two sides that were playing for the manager. We know how much Manchester City players do play for Pep Guardiola, and these days we've seen how much Arsenal players do play for Mikel Arteta. Even if it's a bad day in office, they really, really play well for they really, really fight hard for Mikel Arteta. So what is happening? Arteta is back, and I think that is really, really huge news. The upcoming fixtures we're having, especially Tottenham Hotspur, it's a North London derby, and Spurs, to be honest, and to give them credit, they have really improved a lot in terms of play and how they look under Antonio Conte. Defensive wise, they have been a little bit better. That kind of midfield partnership, between the likes of Højbjerg, and Moura is becoming better and better. And Son and Ken up front have also started, finding their goal scoring boots again. So you just need everything you can. You just need your manager, you just need your players, you just need your best players. You also need your players that are not even good enough in that game. I mean, that is how important that game is. But anyway, lads, away from that, let's get to the transfers. Where do we begin? Let's start off with Bruno Guimarez, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Jorginho Wijnaldum, and Philippe Coutinho. I think that is the gist of this video. So to start off with Bruno Guimarez, I told you yesterday, I spoke about it. I didn't come live because my computer is a little bit weakening, and there is nothing at the moment. There is really nothing I can do about it. It's really, really, really weakening, and that's it. My computer is weakening. But listen, yesterday I talked about it. Bruno Guimarez, Lyon came out and said that it's going to take an astronomical figure to take Bruno Guimarez away from the club in January. They want an astronomical figure, and finally they have come out and set that price. According to Fabrizio Romano, Lyon will be looking at 45 million euros. That is the price they're looking at. 45 million euros. That is said, and according to Romano, that price is a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. Talks are ongoing between Edu and Jean-Michel Aules, between Arsenal and Lyon, to be precise. Talks are ongoing, but the 45 million euro price is a non-negotiable. They are saying you cannot go around that. There is no negotiations. That price is said. Actually, Romano has put it very, very clearly, and he has said it is either that money, it is either that amount or nothing. Right? Arsenal will have to either pay that amount or actually nothing, or not get the player. So that is what is happening with Bruno Guimarez. But listen, Today, it has been confirmed again by Fabrizio Romano that Ainsley Maitland-Niles has left football club Arsenal and is joining AS Roma. Actually, I think it's called AS. Yeah, he's joining AS Roma. That is confirmed. So Arsenal have now that kind of midfield void that we have to that we have to fulfill because to fill. Elneny has gone, Partey has gone, Ainsley has gone. Look, I don't think Arsenal would let Ainsley Maitland-Niles go if there is no backup plan, if there is no player, lined up, to succeed him. Bruno Guimarez at the moment looks like the player that we are trying to sign. At least according to the latest rumors, it is not Coutinho, it is not Renato Sanchez, it is Bruno Guimarez. Edu is trying to do whatever he can to get in Bruno Guimarez at the Emirates Stadium, and that price, 45 million euros. What do you think about it, lads? I mean, what do you think about it? 24 years of age, soon turning 25. Bruno Guimarez, is he worth 45 million euros, or is he not worth that much? In my opinion, I say that I said when when I was reacting to the 38 million rumors that were set by Brazilian outlets, and I said for 38, it's a bargain. It's a bargain because for me, I do not look at Bruno Guimarez alone as a player and his talent, but just look at how well he's developing in the past 2-3 years, and also look at how well he might develop in the next 2-3. Because again, for a midfielder, his peak is going to be 26, 27. So just imagine Bruno Guimarez at 27. That is when you're going to get the best out of him. He will have developed fully into a really, really professional midfielder. And also you look at the ceiling. If he comes in at Arsenal and things don't work out, his resale value is quite high. You could just say, you could sell him for 35 or 40 million euros if things don't work out. And if things do work out, you could even sell him for, because midfielders this time are really expensive. We bought in Thomas Partey at 45. You could sell him at 70. You could sell him at 80. We know how wild the transfer window is. But of course, I'm not looking at bringing in Bruno Guimarez as a player we're gonna sell. I'm looking at Bruno Guimarez as a player who comes in as a long-term partner to Thomas Partey and a long-term partner to Albert Sambi Lokonga as well. And I think he's just that perfect guy. Because if you look at him and what he does with the ball, on and off the ball, you've got to admire, honestly, unless you're not one person that really admires good talent. But if you're a person who really understands good talent and what Arsenal need at the moment, I think Bruno Guimarez is the man. So that transfer, I think it's a sensible one. It's a very, very sensible one. Again, on 99 Sport, make sure you do check out that channel. Link is in the video description. It is my second channel. I've talked about Bruno, and I said if Arsenal wants someone that can give you, that kind of hybrid, it's Bruno Guimarez. It's definitely Bruno. Because one, Mikel Arteta doesn't want to expose his side defensively. He wants two players in that pivot that can be that can act as a block and as a protector, as a shield to that back four. And I think that's why they're really, really doing well, because Xhaka and Partey sitting in there, or Lokonga and Partey, sitting there, it just gives them, it just gives the opponent a lot of trouble, and it takes the opponent a lot of time to reach that back line. But apart from that, the other thing that you're looking at in a player like Bruno Guimarez is the press. Our press is good, but it can be made better. That is what we're looking at. We're looking at a club that's going to be challenging for Champions League football this season, next season, and the seasons thereafter. I don't expect Arsenal to drop. I don't expect Arsenal to go backwards. The reason there is we are not like Manchester United. United have put together a couple of good players, and I think Pamet Saka spoke about this. They put together a couple of players: Sancho, Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba, and but they have not built a structure. What Arsenal has done, and why I think it's a lot of credit to Mikel Arteta now, is we've built that kind of structure that you just need to add in a few players, and that's why I think last summer was really, really, really pivotal in the way we were setting up. Really, really pivotal. So Bruno Guimarez, then, if you get him, it's a no-brainer, lads. It's a no-brainer. However much we want to say this and that, Bruno Guimarez to Arsenal, it's a no-brainer. Get him in. He's one player that is really exciting. He's one player that Arsenal should be signing. And less competition right now. I think in the summer you could have a couple of clubs. United are struggling in the midfield. I expect them. You never know. Manchester City, they always come in for those unexpected deals. I always expect them. As well. But I think in terms of competition in January, it's a very straightforward deal. So Arsenal in talks with Bruno Guimarez. That transfer is being discussed. Lots of updates to discuss in there, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time because much of that I've told you in the morning show about Bruno Guimarez and what is happening around there. So let's move on to then Jorginho Wijnaldum. Arsenal are also now. I think this is trying to be sure. Arsenal are currently exploring a move for Jorginho Wijnaldum. Talks are ongoing with PSG to get him on a loan deal with an option to buy. Now, that is the problem. He is currently earning 200k per week. He's 31. Getting him on a loan deal in January is a no-brainer. I said that before, and I'll say it again. I know many of you will tell me, Cossy, Jorginho is not that good. It's not at that level of Thomas Partey for me because Partey is a hybrid. Partey is a defensive genius and an offensive machine as well. And that's why I think Partey and midfielders like Partey, they are very, very hard to find. You might look at players like Wilfred Ndidi, but Ndidi doesn't get that much credit going forward. I think N'Golo Kante, Partey, I think those players are really exciting. Yeah, they're really exciting because what they do in terms of picking up, getting the ball back, what they do in terms of distribution, what they do in terms of offensive duties on the pitch, it is quite very, very fascinating. So what I want to say is Jorginho Wijnaldum might not fit the boots of Thomas Partey. He might not give us the boots, what Thomas Partey gives us. But again, I think he just fits into what we want. A player who's going to come and be available throughout January, throughout February. When Partey comes back, I think Partey will be back after the 6th of February, right? So when Partey comes back, you can either play him alongside Gigi Wijnaldum. I prefer to call him that. Or you could play Gigi Wijnaldum alongside alongside Xhaka. Or you could play Xhaka, Partey, Wijnaldum. You could play that 4-3-3, which I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to be playing, especially with Martin Odegaard around. You could also have Gigi Wijnaldum wait patiently on the bench. I think, look, again, a player who's signing for Arsenal at this point in time, for 6 months, he doesn't expect a lot of game time because we're not in the Champions League, we're not in the Europa League. So I don't expect Gigi Wijnaldum to say, "Oh, I'm disappointed when I signed for Arsenal. I only played 10 games." I don't think that, right? Because we're a club that already has a structure. We have players that are playing according to that structure. You either have to be too good to come and displace any of the players on that pitch, or you have to be very patient. Sit down on the bench and wait. For me, Wijnaldum can give us both, right? When Xhaka gets injured, when Xhaka suffers from a burnout, when you need a bit of squad rotation, like we are playing Nottingham Forest, I think in the FA Cup, you just need players like like Wijnaldum. And I think the beauty with him is he's played in the Premier League, he's played at that top level, he's played in he's won the best trophies you'd ever think about as an English club. Premier League, he's got it. I mean, he's finished runners-up with Liverpool a couple of times in the Premier League, he's won the Champions League and finished runners-up in the Champions League with Liverpool as well. So, you might just need that kind of experience. He can give it to you. And I think he wouldn't be a costly bargain because if you get him from PSG, you could just negotiate 50% wages to be paid by Arsenal and then 50% wages to be paid by PSG. They have nothing to lose. They're not using him. He's getting 200k per week. And I mean, if Arsenal offer 100k per week, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. Get Aubameyang out on 300. Get his 300k out as soon as possible, and bring in Gigi Wijnaldum on 100k. You could also bring in a striker on loan, probably on 100k. That is absolute genius of business. So Gigi Wijnaldum. One thing I do not agree with it though, lads, is the option to buy or the obligation to buy. I think the option to buy would be something like a bait that PSG would take, but I think an obligation to buy, for that one, I disagree with it 100%. Because look, he's getting 200k a week. He's 31. Willian settings back in. We don't want that. I think he should be used only as, I mean, it happens, all over the world. I mean, we use things, we use people to get what we want. So it should be used as that kind of player in January, bridges the gap, and then in the summer we bring in someone we want. Don't include an obligation to buy, and don't sign him on a permanent, because on a permanent 200k per week, we could do better with that money. We could do lots better. We could give that money to Dusan Vlahovic, which discussion we'll have in the evening. Yeah, we could give that money to Dusan Vlahovic, and it can actually really work out. So what I thought on Gigi Wijnaldum, remember to hit the like button, and remember to hit the subscribe button as well. We are 35,000. And we're very close to 36,000, right? So, I mean, I'll be always here to give you the latest in terms of Arsenal, what is happening, what is going on. So, in terms of the midfield, Ainsley has left the club. It's a loan deal, a dry loan deal. There is nothing like an obligation, and there is nothing like an option to buy. It's just flat. He's gone. He will be back in the summer. Good deal for Ainsley. Good deal for Arsenal if we can actually bring in someone, in that midfield. I think it's a very, very good deal. Then now on to Coutinho, because again Coutinho is dominating the news, and whenever a story comes out on Filippo Coutinho, it just covers Arsenal, right? It just covers Arsenal. Now in the morning, we were given an ultimatum by Barcelona that if we want to sign the player, it should be 24 hours by today. Yeah, by today, Arsenal should have come up with us, with a decision, with a confirmation whether they are going to be signing Filippo Coutinho or not. That is according to AFC Barcelona. Sorry for that. And, the understanding between the two clubs is not yet there. We have an understanding between Coutinho and Arsenal, but there is no understanding between Arsenal and AFC Barcelona. But what I've seen, lately is that Arsenal do not want to take Coutinho on a permanent. They do not want to take him with an option or obligation to buy. They even do not want to pay his wages. So what I think the kind of deal Arsenal are trying to explore with Filippo Coutinho is one where the parent club pays all the wages of the player, and you just get the player. I mean, you just get the player out. I think, look, we might not actually succeed with that because it's difficult, right? It's very, very difficult. But I think if Barcelona are on the wall, then it might happen, because Newcastle are currently in talks, reportedly with Aston Villa included, and Liverpool have also been have been reported to explore an option to bring him at the Anfield in January. But I think with Arsenal, this is smart business. This is really, really smart business. Getting Filippo Coutinho, pay nothing of his wages. 100%, I take him. 100% I take him. You know what? I mean, he's a player where this is a deal where we don't pay, we are getting the services, but we're not paying a penny, right? And and I know any of you is gonna ask me, because why would Barcelona do that? Barcelona want to Barca want to register Ferran Torres and they also want to register a couple of players if they can sign them in January. So what is happening is they can't do that, right? They need to let go of some players, Filippo Coutinho being one of them. Get him in Arsenal, do that deal. Yeah, it's a good deal. Yeah, but I don't want it to be an empty deal with Filippo Coutinho. Getting Filippo Coutinho and probably Gigi Wijnaldum or Renato or Bruno Guimarez. I think it would be a very, very good addition if you have Coutinho and then bring in Gigi Wijnaldum. Very, very good transfer business. Very, very good transfer business, like I said earlier. And finally, lads, Florian Balogun is set to join Chris Wilder's side. That is Sheffield United. Confirmation is going to be coming up very, very soon. And of course, I will include this deal in the All Done Deals show that I'll be doing later tomorrow. I will tell you whatever is happening around Arsenal, who has left and who is actually coming in, because the done deals have really, really started. So the All Done Deal shows will be starting very, very soon on this channel. I can't stream for very, very long. My computer is struggling, but I think look, I will be back, right? I will be back and we will discuss more of these Arsenal stories.